Good morning, St. Francis. Good morning, people of God. It is Thursday, the 27th day of July 2023. It is Thursday of the 16th week of the year, the 16th week in ordinary time. Just a regular day in ordinary time, but I'm at RDU at the airport again, making an early morning flight to a vacation. But then after that, I'm going to Ireland to the Societas Liturgica conference. And in Ireland, the high is 60 degrees, but it's all rain also. So it'll be quite a difference from being here in the Carolinas once I get to Ireland. So, but as I prepare to fly out again on this Thursday of the 16th week of the year, we encounter God as a show-off, basically. The people are assembled at Mount Sinai, the people of Israel, and God tells Moses to tell them to be bathed and to take care of themselves, to prepare themselves, because God is going to show up finally. And God does on the mountain in this great display of smoke and thunder and lightning and fire and whatever it is, and everybody's just filled with awe. And basically Moses speaks to God, and God answers in thunder, and it's just all very dramatic, because God wants the people of Israel to know that this is the one who has taken them from slavery, from oppression in Egypt, and now has brought them into, or is bringing them into a promised land, into a new land. But it's also on Mount Sinai where God will basically give the covenant of the law to them, asking Israel to obey and to act in a way that is different than other people and other nations act, again, to demonstrate the fact of their chosenness, of God's chosenness for them, God's chosenness, and their chosenness to God. So again, as we move forward in Exodus, we see, again, God doing what it is that God does. And it's also the whole idea with, whereas God feeds the people because they are hungry and hears their grumbling, whatever it is, God is not someone to be toyed with. God is not somebody basically to take for granted or to even try to manipulate. And so this great display of power and majesty and the use of thunder and lightning and smoke and fire and what have you is meant to impress upon the Israelites in that way. And the same way for us too, to be able to understand really what it is that we are involved with when we are involved with God. Again, a God who is all love, a God who will do anything for us, but a God who will not basically allow God's self to be manipulated or to be turned into what it is that we want God to be, or what we think God should be, or what God can be. Is a God of surprises. It's a God of wonder, a God of beauty, a God of majesty, a God of awe. Not necessarily a God of fear, because the people are not told to fear when God appears. They are basically told to recognize that this is the God who has saved them, this is the God who rescued them, this is the God who is going to continue to bring them and to give them life. In the Gospel today, basically we continue with the passage that we would have heard 2 Sundays ago about Jesus explaining to the disciples, to the apostles, why it is that he speaks in parables. And again, it's because if God writes straight with crooked lines, as that little sentimental saying goes, so too does God speak in ways that require a sense of listening, not just hearing, but truly listening to understand what it is that God is trying to say through Christ, what it is that God wants us to hear through Jesus. And so the idea of the parable, which again seems to turn the world upside down, to turn the world on its head, to give people new ideas and new ways of thinking about themselves and thinking about their relationship with God and with one another. That is why Jesus speaks in that way, because basically just to tell people this, just to tell people that this is how you should be and how you should act, is generally not enough. And so these stories that describe, the effect of what it means to live this life that we are called to live as believers in the world, which is very important, because sometimes we don't really understand. We know, how to live, perhaps. We know what we're supposed to do, but we never really truly understand the effect of what it means to live the life that we live. And so parables attempt to show us that. Parables attempt to show us that it is worth believing, that faith matters, and that being a people chosen by God, loved by God, embraced by God, is something that can transform the face of the earth. A blessed day, St. Francis and people of God. May the Lord give you his peace.